To politics now, and a serious warning to our nation from the world's leading credit rating agency. It's Moody's, and they're saying that it may downgrade America's credit rating if lawmakers cannot reach a deal on raising the debt ceiling. What would that mean for you? Is there anything that can be done now to bring both sides of the aisle together? Let's bring in our political panel, fair and balanced. Ford O'Connell, a former outreach director for Senator John McCain's presidential campaign, and Doug Schoen, a former pollster for President Clinton. Gentlemen, welcome to both of you.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Doug, which side seems to be the one that may go a little bit more in the middle of the aisle, where we might have bipartisan support for a decision on the debt ceiling, because Moody's reducing the rating? Is that a game changer?
Well, it should be a game changer, Jamie. And to your question, it's a very good one. And I was smiling because I don't think either party has extended themselves. I think both sides should put everything on the table. The Democrats, Medicare, the Republicans, taxes. I think everything should be put on the table, not only to deal with the debt ceiling, but to deal with the deficit as well. This is a ticking time bomb. It could go off before the August drop dead date. And we're really playing chicken with our national well-being. And to the viewers at home, the bottom line is interest rates could go up, markets could go asunder, and stocks could plummet. We don't need that given the jobs report from Friday, that's for sure.
Ford, is it chicken, like Doug is saying, or Russian roulette? How significant are the stakes?
I can't believe that I actually agree with Doug here. The biggest issue is that Moody's warning should be a wake-up call to both parties. This is no longer about principle. This is about fiscal reality. With that said, though, we cannot have the U.S. credit rating lowered because the bottom line is it's too precious to our nation or the world markets. That said, House Republicans under no circumstances should vote to raise the debt ceiling without getting a deficit reduction program that includes tax cuts and entitlement reform. Additionally, we cannot talk about raising corporate and individual tax rates, okay, until we've actually gotten spending cuts and entitlement reform.
And Speaker Boehner has been, Ford, very clear that he will not even consider the issue of new taxes or higher taxes unless there are significant spending cuts. But, Doug, do you see tax increases as inevitable?
Well, I do believe we have to raise revenue. I thought the Bowles-Simpson plan from December had it about right. 3 times as many spending cuts for tax increases. And the way to do it without raising rates is to get rid of tax preferences that individuals and corporations enjoy. And indeed, in some circumstances, you can actually reduce the overall rate if you get rid of some of the tax expenditures that are in current legislation. So I think there is a path to the kind of deal we've been talking about. The problem is the political leaders on both sides lack the political will to get it done.
But that commission was put together by President Obama, and he didn't accept their recommendations.
And that's a real problem, Jamie, and the fact that the Republicans haven't embraced it either is a problem to me as well.
Ford, let me ask you a bigger question as I see it, because this is not just an issue that affects us, and you've really described well how significantly it does, but it's a global issue, because how will other nations look at us if we get so close to the deadline for making a decision on the debt ceiling? We can't agree. Maybe we raise taxes, and everything from the real estate market to the stock market is in flux and could only get worse. Do we really need to be thinking about setting an example, or at least looking like we have a plan more than we already do?
Absolutely. There is a little bit of political theater here, but we have to recognize that the world's watching. We cannot have the dollar not be the top currency in the world. And the best way to do that is to actually raise the credit ceiling, the debt ceiling. With that said, though, again, we're going to have to come up with a deficit reduction plan, because part of Moody's warning is not just that we have to raise the debt ceiling, but also that we actually have to show a deficit reduction program in place, because the world is losing confidence in the U.S., and we can't have that. We are the greatest country in the world, and we should be leading the world in the financial markets.
God bless America. Mm-hmm. And people are losing confidence, too, because they're not spending. Doug, let me ask you this. You're the Democrat. The point is, if we raise the debt ceiling, how are we going to pay it back anyway?
Well, you know, that's what a deficit reduction plan is about. There got to be spending cuts. There have to be revenue increases. And as I suggested before, the Bowles-Simpson plan would cut $4 trillion over 10 years, do it much quicker than Paul Ryan's plan. I think it was a plan with 11 out of 18 votes on the commission. You're right, Jamie, the White House should have embraced it, but that's a path mark to getting it done. And I would say negotiations should start tomorrow between both sides to achieve that result.
And I'm going to let you guys guys represent both sides. I
Absolutely.
only stated factually that the president didn't take the recommendations.
Doug, you better help talk to the president, my man.
If he would take my calls, I'd love to do it.
Well, maybe he's heard you, Doug.
I
Thanks
hope
so much.
so.
Ford,
I hope
nice
so.
to meet you, too. Thank
Thanks.
you for being with us.
Thank you.
Great.
Have a great day, guys.